Hi! The new Stampin' Up! Die cutting machine is here! It'll be available to order starting September 1st, 2020 in my online store. But I was able to get my hands on one early, and I promised my sweet stampers that I would use it, try it out, and let them know my thoughts. The name? The Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 19 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles. And if you've guessed from my enthusiasm that I'm really liking it, well, you're right. So here it is, the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Right away you notice how nice and compact that is, so it's easy to place on a shelf. And before we even open it and see it in action, let me show you this. The rubber feet. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. It doesn't jump all around. I don't have to sit there and use all of my strength to keep it. And that handle, oh, nice, nice, nice. And it's lighter than our other die cutting machine, and like that too. But just because it's lighter doesn't mean it isn't incredibly sturdy. It has solid steel construction. So that makes it easier to die cut, to crank the handle like that. You know, as we're getting older, we're losing some strength, and we don't have to be Superman to use this. Love it, love it, love it. So, so pleased. All right, so there's so many things to tell you about. But here's the good news. You know, there are differences in how well it works, but it's the same idea. There's not this big learning curve at all. It's a die cutting machine with a lot of improvements. One of them being that all of the plates are numbered. So now when I tell you the sandwich, I can just tell you the number. You don't have to memorize names. So the number 1, well, that's your platform. Okay, there we go. And number 2, well, that's the die cutting plate. And so like I said, the sandwiches, I'll just tell you what we need. And it comes with all of these that I'm showing you, 2 of the number 3s, which are the cutting pads. Okay, so we'll put one down, and then let's watch this bad boy in action. And so what I have here is some balmy blue cardstock, and I chose the So Many Snowflakes dies to give this. Now this is pretty intricate. Okay, so before we had the precision base plate and use that for intricate dies to get a really good cut. And I thought, oh, I wonder how this will do, because we don't have that. All right, so then to finish my sandwich, I needed another cutting pad. So I will tell you in the future, number 1, number 2, number 3, your cardstock, your die, and a number 3. Another number 3. Okay. And so let's go ahead and look. This is cranking through so easy. Now, this is what I couldn't wait to see, because we're not using the precision base plate for those intricate dies. And anytime I used that, I always backed up and went through for a second time to see. Let's see how well this cut. Okay, that just popped out. Now this is intricate, so it's not just going to pop out of here. I'm going to have to gently get it out, but look at that. Wow. Very, very impressive. I'm seriously impressed with how easy it was to crank that through, and it only took one pass for a very intricate die cut. Okay, so the plates come numbered and with instructions. All right, so in case you can't remember, what did she tell me? Well, you just read them. And so we did this one for a die. We did that sandwich, and now we're going to do it for an embossing folder. So we'll start with number 1, and then we need a number 3, and then we have our embossing folder, and it tells us on here, hinge first. All right, so that's a standard embossing folder, and then another cutting pad. And then we just crank that through. Look at that. I'm just loving how it glides. All right, it's definitely easier. Oh, look at that gorgeous, gorgeous embossing. So now, well, we have another plate to show you. So we still need number 1. And then we have our 3D embossing folder. Okay, and these make just, the images are amazing. So before we do anything though, I have my cardstock and my Stampin' Spritzer, And I like to use rubbing alcohol because it dries quicker. So we'll spritz this. And when you use water or the rubbing alcohol, it just makes it more than ever. All right, so remember, hinge first. And so we're following it. And we don't have a cutting pad on the bottom. That's perfectly fine because we're not cutting anything. We won't hurt a thing. And that's what number 4 is. This is a specialty plate for the 3D embossing folders. So let's go ahead and crank that through. Because if you don't get the right sandwich, you just won't have the amount of pressure that you need. All right, let's look and see how, oh my goodness. That is really, really 3D. That is something. And so like I said, in the future I'll be able to tell you about the sandwiches. All right, so all of the sandwiches are designed, you know, everything is designed for the Stampin' Up! Dies and embossing folders, but you can use your embossing folders and dies from other manufacturers. You may find that you need to shim to make it thick enough. And when I say shim, I use a sheet of cardstock, the same size as the cutting plate. Okay, and so you'll just have to adjust. Okay, so the one thing, okay, next to the excitement for this new machine, the second most excited thing, and I don't have it, is the magnetic cutting plate. Cannot wait. I've been talking about this. One is the entire surface is a magnet. And so it means we don't have to chase around trying to find a magnet on there. The whole thing is, so we'll be able to use the whole surface. But it also has a self-healing cutting mat. It will become our bottom cutting plate. I have got to have this thing. I'll be ordering on September 1st. So we'll be using that instead of this. And it's self-healing. So I'm waiting to see how long it'll last. I'm thinking a long, long time. And I'm also thinking, oh my goodness. Okay, so if we don't, so that will be our cutting surface. We don't have to try to get through a cutting pad to get to the magnets because we'll be right on it. And so because before, you know, I'd have to flip them around trying to find a place that wasn't warped. So excited. I cannot wait. September 1st. I will be ordering that really early because I've got to have that magnetic cutting plate. Excited. So beyond excited about that. All right. So now when you're using it, it's designed for one sheet of cardstock or paper at a time. Okay. So that's what you want to do. And it is not recommended that you use other of the plates from other manufacturers because you could damage your machine. All right. Oh, and then, you know, I just use the smaller embossing folder. Okay. That's okay to use this smaller embossing folder in here, but don't use the smaller plates. There's a mini coming, not yet. There's a mini die cutting machine, and don't use the mini plates in your full size one, but you can. All right. So we're talking plates. It says do not use in the full-size machine. Okay, and again, the steel construction makes it easier to crank. Love that. That everything's numbered, so it's going to be so easy. And you see it works like other die cutting machines, right? So there's not this big learning curve, but it's going to get easier and easier because one, it's easier to crank. And then 2, we have the numbers. I'll be able to tell you the sandwich just by numbers. You have to know all the terms for them. It doesn't matter. You'll just know the numbers. And 1 pass through. I mean, you saw how beautiful it die cut that snowflake. 1 pass through without any kind of special plate. Very, very pleased. If there's something I forgot, oh, there's a 3-year warranty. So when you order this from me in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, anything happens, you get a hold of me, you know, and Stampin' Up! Will take care of it, whatever it means, repair, replace, whatever. And then when you're done, look, you just fold these back up and put it on your shelf. Oh, I knew that was going to be loud. Very pleased, more than I ever dreamed I would be. I was excited to have one, and but didn't know it was going to come with so many fantastic features. So again, September 1st, 2020, you can order the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I know you're excited and want to order one. You only have to wait till September 1st, 2020 to order the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in my online store. And if you'd like more of my stamping tips, well, I invite you to subscribe to the Stampers Insider. It's your free stamping source for inspiration, information, and ideas. Just go now to www.thestampersinsider.com to subscribe. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.